Hey, Grandison Shines here, and thank you very much for watching this video. In today's video series, I'm starting an 11-part series talking about the path of leadership. As you see this triangle here, we're going to fill this in. We're going to start from the bottom and we're going to work up. And this is very, very synonymous to your maturation in your leadership career. Understanding how to facilitate each one of these levels. There are 11 parts, again, that we're going to be talking about. Each one of these has its own particular nuance that warrants its own focus and concentration as you aspire to be a leader. Now, leadership is a journey. I always say this. You're always learning about something regarding how to be a better leader. At least you should be if you're in that learning, consistent learning mode. And you should be there, always on, always learning, understanding people and understanding other nuances of the external environment that you're in wherever you are. But leadership is not an easy task. It is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. And if you're not ready to be resilient, if you're not ready to exercise and exert a certain level of self-control, and we have a modality called the 5 parts of the self. If you're not ready to do that, then I would suggest just move out of the way until you make that determination in your mind that you are going to stay the course. Because it does take a lot, especially in the earlier years of understanding how to be a leader. You're going to have so much coming at you. And again, I preface this conversation with that it is not an easy task. And if we look at leadership from its highest levels, we can divide it into 2 separate areas. One is the people management side, understanding how to manage people, their attitudes, their nuances, understanding how to communicate with them appropriately, work with their personalities, and so forth. And then you also have the performance side of it. We have to meet the number. We have to complete the projects. We have to be able to talk to vendors and get information or parts or whatever it may be. Both of those will always coincide one with the other. Again, they will always be working together, and you have to be ready and willing to do both sides. Some people get burnt out in dealing with other people. If that's you, then leadership might not be the right path for you. Because again, ascending into this of the long journey, ascending into this understanding of leadership and how this leadership path will take you to greatness is going to be something that you're going to always have to revisit every single day that you are in this leadership seat. All right, so let's get started. And I want to preface it with this. You first have to learn how to be a great follower before being a great leader, okay? You first have to learn how to be a great follower before you learn how to be a great leader. So the first phase that we're going to be talking about are the foundational principles. This is where you learn all the foundational opportunities that are availing for yourself, or how are you going to treat everybody else. And I often ask this question in the program: can you treat everyone the same? That's the question. Can you treat everyone the same? 85% of the time I get the word no. You can't. I haven't explained why. Well, I'm going to turn that around. You can and you should treat everyone the same. It gets very particular for that individual, for their personality or who you're dealing with, their emotional state, their mental state, and everything else. But you should treat everyone with kindness. You should be considerate with everyone. You should be mindful of everyone else's time, right? So there are these foundational principles of how you interact with other people that should be foundational from a leadership perspective. In fact, these foundational principles will also coincide and work with you and your leadership brand that you are already creating, either by default or intention, and it will also coincide with your leadership style later on as you ascend in your career. So let's get on the same page of what foundational principles are. Foundational principles refer to the fundamental beliefs or assumptions that form the basis for a person, system, theory, or organization. Okay, foundational principles. They are the core concepts that guide the actions and decisions of an individual or entity and shape its overall direction and purpose. Leadership definitely should have a purpose. When you sit in a leadership seat, you should know what your purpose is and who you're leading and who's following you. You have a purpose. You should know what that purpose is. You should be very, very in tune with that purpose as well. We'll talk about that later on. Example of foundational principles include things like fairness. Should you treat everyone fair? Absolutely. Respect. Should you be respectful of everyone? Yes. Does everyone garner respect or need the respect that you have? Yeah, they do. But some people don't really deserve that respect. Let me put it like that. That's respect. But you still have to be respectful of people. Honesty, integrity, and accountability, right? So would you agree that we should all have these foundational principles? Most likely, yes. If you said no, then just move yourself out of the leadership seat right now. Don't even waste anyone's time trying to lead them if you don't have these basic foundational principles in place. Now, that's not all of them, but you do learn foundational principles. And in fact, those foundational principles, a lot of them you have accepted and or rejected that were instilled in you by way of your previous bosses, by way of parents, even at the very global level, and other coaches and mentors and other important people you had in your life. Now, this graphic can be utilized over the totality of your life, but we're going to just nuance it right here with the leadership opportunity that you're going to have, okay? Continue on. These principles can be used to guide and serve as the foundation for decision-making, problem solving, and much, much more. In fact, we have identified 44 different leadership skills that you should have. In our program, we take a number of them, we take you through a number of them through the year program, and then after that as well. So foundational principles are absolutely essential. You always want to make sure those foundational principles are there and you operate from those foundational principles. Those are the principles that become your default programming. Okay, your default programming. And it is essential for you every single day, every single waking moment to be very affluent and to be very, very intentional with those foundational principles. Never forgetting them, but always, always, always revisiting them as you ascend into your leadership career. All right, this is part 1 of the video. Stay tuned for part 2. Thanks.